Hello and welcome back to the RNF Unlocked podcast series. It's been a long 3 weeks absence from racing, but everything is back in gear now as we return to MotoGP here at Mugello to kick off the triple header, which ends the first half of this season. Joining me today, none other than Razlan Razali. Hello, Razlan.
Hey, Neil.
Wilco Zinenberg. Hello, Wilco.
Good afternoon.
And also David Emmett, who will be on hosting duties with myself, Neil Morrison. Hello, David.
Hello, Neil.
So, gentlemen, we've had 3 long weeks off. Briefly, how was the break for you?
Oh, it was good, huh? Awesome. I think, like we said just now, I mean, before when I was involved as a fan or when I was the CEO of the circuit, you know, this 3 weeks break is like too long. You know, sitting at home waiting for MotoGP to come back, you know, it's just like, come on, you know. And now with any breaks that we can get, we take it, you know. So now we look forward we had a good 3 weeks break, but then we look forward for that 5 weeks break after Assen already.
Yeah, it was a little bit mixed for me, I have to say, because of course we needed the 3 weeks just to get the riders, you know, better as well, because of course both were injured. And but on the other side, we also know a break at this period from 3 weeks means disaster at the end of the year, you know, because we need to catch up those races at some stage. But yeah, for us it was actually fantastic because the riders were, they needed this time to recover. And I was worried actually quite a bit, especially for Miguel.
Yeah, but you guys went for the All-Stars, Aprilia All-Stars.
Yeah, it's okay. We were not doing nothing, you know, as we also try to plan ahead, of course, with other things. But working from home is completely different than traveling around the world and doing races, you know. This is.
Did you get to ride any bikes in Misano?
No, I had my leathers on.
You did?
I had not my own leathers, but I had leathers on, and I was able to ride it to 50. But at the moment that the time needed to go, they started the bike. Then the track was closed because something happened on track, and then
you didn't get to ride it?
No. And
what were you supposed to ride?
A 250.
Whose bike?
Yeah, it's an old bike from...
not Max Biaggi's bike or some world champion bike?
No, the Max bike, there was another RS 250, you know, like an Aprilia 250 bike. And Alès rode on one, Raul rode on one, and Maverick rode on one. And then I was like, and I said, yeah, no problem. And actually, I get the chance. I had Paulo Oliveira's leather on. It was 5 sizes too big. Sorry, Paulo, but it was too big. But finally, I had to take it off again because it took 2 hours. And then, I think they were very short on timing. We had other things to do, as you can imagine as well. And then they came out, you can ride now. And I had to grab the leathers, and it didn't happen, you know, bottom line.
I asked Paulo Bonera to allow you to ride the RSGP. He said, no, it's only for Aprilia designated riders. Yeah, but he's a former Aprilia rider. Let him ride it. I said, no, then we have to sign a contract. Make one up. So it didn't happen.
Yes, he said that, you cannot ride. I said, well, who asked you? I said, yeah, Razlan. I said, okay. But even the riders didn't do laps on the MotoGP bike. They made a lap and went through pit lane because that's the rule. They cannot do laps.
It must be really interesting to be involved in something like that. It's, you know, quite a spectacle. It's a big event. It's very important to Aprilia. It's quite different to your previous, previous employers, sort of your previous manufacturers. What was, you know, the whole experience?
Of course, it's a bit painful as well because, you know, we are a race team, and I know it's a lot of PR value for the marketing group, but nevertheless, you need to send the trailers, you need to send mechanics, and nobody actually is ready to do that in a championship with 20 races, you know. So actually the timing was quite right, and we discussed, and also, you know, it's our first year with Aprilia. It's for them a big thing, so we said it. We said we go all in or we don't go, you know. And finally a couple of guys went, of course, and also myself and the riders. So it was good and it was interesting as well. And they prepared many stuff, but of course, for a race team, it's a kind of useless weekend. You know, you're walking around and waving and shaking hands, and
what they call a dog and pony show.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think for Aprilia, I mean, to show off their first satellite team.
Yeah.
You know, with the different colors, with the riders, I think that's important. So I told Wilco, bite the bullet. We have to go. You know, but then we have another event that we have to go on, Goodwood.
Yeah, it's Goodwood, but also don't it's quite a big thing because finally they rode the bikes, but they ride the bikes with test engines.
Yes.
So after Le Mans, you need to prepare engines out, test engines in. You do 3 laps, test engines out, race engines in.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work for just a show, So you should not underestimate the amount of work it is actually. We fly out to Mugello, you fly back, you drive, and many things can go wrong as well. Now we are missing one letter from Miguel. Because one trailer was here, the other one was not here, so we have to swap Miguel's material into the wrong trailer, and now it's gone. So it also brings troubles normally.
I saw one comment though from Massimo Rivola, obviously the CEO of Aprilia Racing. He was saying that he feels now Aprilia has the dream team, not just in terms of Aleix and Maverick in his factory team, but also Miguel and Raul here with you guys. I guess that's a nice thing to hear, that he's pretty happy with the progress so far, despite the fact that you guys haven't been the luckiest so far this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, I'm still feeling it. How unlucky we were, but it is what it is. But I'm glad he says that because I think we had a good package. I think both riders and the bikes. So
100% agreed, because finally the moments we were in trouble, we finished races. First of all, we were in front of the Yamahas. So our other package would have been this year on the Yamaha, and they clearly also. They struggle, I think, technically more on speed than us. And this is also something you should not forget. Last year we did our best, we tried the maximum, but we were many times last. And now at least, Miguel has been nearly on the podium in the first race, and when he finished, he's top 5 so far.
Yeah.
Of course, so he did not finish enough. There's another story, but also Raul's
with his arm.
Actions, and especially Portimao, he crashed in the last couple of laps because he could not feel the bike very well anymore, and then he was injured, of course, in Le Mans. So far, let's see how it goes from here, and I think all the
by the same time,
is gone.
By the same time, I can't help feeling nervous as well. I mean, to be honest, I'm nervous for this weekend. What else can happen? So both our riders are back. I mean, what's going to happen at the sprint race or main race? Are we going to...
No, I agree with that as well.
But the only nothing much you can do, right?
Well, for sure something will happen, because you saw in Le Mans as well that even when we were not there, something happened. So Pecco crashed with Maverick. That was an accident that you actually never see before. And for me, a mistake from Pecco on the outside. You think, where do you want to go in those first 3 laps? The same with Aleix and Luca Marini, when he lost the front. So even disaster will continue, because for me, the protocol and is everybody's nervous, everybody is sharp, and
it does seem that, especially with the sprint races, everyone is, or the sprint races seem to pump the riders up. Because first of all, Saturday morning you've got qualifying, then you've got the sprint races, and then you've got the race on Sunday, and everyone is really, really pumped up. And then I think it was, it might be Miguel who said, with 2 starts, the first start everyone gets to look at where everyone went, and so they sort of think, okay, right, this guy is going that way and that's going, so I can do this. But the second start is, of course, never the same as the first start. So everyone starts to make sort of plans and gets them even more excited. So is this part of the stress?
That also doesn't help, but for sure the feeling to attack a weekend, like in the past, you had track time, you can do whatever you want, you can do long runs, and you can try things, and then you were prepared for the Sunday. But now, they are more nervous, and to get that nervous feeling away, they bring this to the sprint race and to the normal race. So they're not relaxed, they're not in control of their bikes 100% as before, because they don't have the time to prepare the bikes as before. And I think
honestly, they're a bit more calm now. I mean, the first few races, everybody's just going crazy.
Yeah.
But I think in Le Mans, you see them a bit more calm. Everybody's a bit more careful, because a lot of crashes is during the main race on Sunday.
Well, but for example, that first crash from Pecco and Maverick, where did that one came from?
Was that sprint race, was it?
No, it was the main race. Sunday race, lap 2 or 3.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, for the sprint race, it's important for them to be calm at the sprint race, so they can at least race properly on Sunday. But it seems that on Saturday, the sprint race, everybody's a bit more calmer.
Yeah.
You know, so less incidents per se. But then Sunday is a different story.
Yeah, it's difficult to judge. For me, it starts with FP1. You know, normally everybody fits a new tire in FP1 at the end of, or not. But at least then you can improve your lap time. But now it's not improve the lap time. No, it's low fuel, a small fuel tank, everything ready for do a time attack. And that is different than just a new tire and improve your lap time.
Talking about tires, so Raul did only one lap, only one few laps on Friday.
Yes.
So the tires from Le Mans, are we reusing that?
No, they're
right.
They're gone. We did not heat up nothing, and that tire is out of the box.
Okay, great.
So unlike the last time that we spoke, Razlan, thankfully we've got both riders back and fit for this weekend. Miguel obviously coming back, maybe ahead of schedule, we think, from his shoulder injury that he sustained in Jerez. And then obviously Raul coming back from his arm pump issues. I mean, can you give us a bit of an update on how they both are? And
ahead of schedule, I'm not sure the ahead of schedule, but it's more like get ready for Mugello.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think his injury is not 100% healed, because I think the long term for him is to have an operation. So that's why he opt not to have, because if he has an operation, it will take 3-4 months off.
Yeah.
You know, so I think whatever it is for him to get ready in Mugello and see how well he's ready for Mugello in the next 3 races. You know, but and Raul, I think. From what I gather from him and from what Wilco observed at the All-Stars, he seems to be okay. He's happy. He said no stress, you know. So let's see FP1 and what happens. You know, I mean, riders, you know, typical athletes, they want to say that they're okay. You know, they're full of enthusiasm. That I'm fine. But then come FP1, you know, I don't know. So let's hope for the best, right?
Yeah, of course. They also know they need to ride their bikes to feel if they are okay.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel yourself very strong, but as soon as you have to move around those horsepowers around the racetrack, you come into reality. You know, back to reality, and you discover things. And sometimes it's better than you expected, because you can actually race with big injuries, which doesn't have any impact on riding, but small injuries many times, scaphoid, all those small things, but also shoulders that you need to have for your balance to ride the bike well and to judge everything well. You know, so this is very particular.
And this is a very physical track. It's I mean, you know, you're doing 360 down the straight and then having to sit up into the wind and brake very hard into the sun. You've got all of the chicanes, so it is a very physically demanding. So it's going to be a real test for both riders.
Yes. Thank you for this very motivated talk for you.
So what do we expect then this weekend?
No, but through the chicanes you need a lot of force to put the bike from left to right. And for braking, I think for both is not a big issue, but it's more the trail braking what gives them troubles, because you need to hang off of the bike. So let's wait and see. I can.
We can't expect anything until FP1 and see how riders feel.
yeah. For you, Razlan, is it a case of, as you said, Miguel coming back here and maybe just building himself up, because we obviously have 3 races in 3 weeks now?
Yeah, he just need to start again from base, as you put it. We don't know, to be honest. Both riders, we don't know. I mean, we know that Raul could may be able to do better, but with Miguel, I'm not sure. I know he did some tests before he came here, you know, and he had a good feeling. But again, riders they are confident, but until they actually get on their RSGP bike, get that first couple of laps, then we will really know for sure.
Obviously, you've had a couple of races where both riders have been injured, both riders have had problems, and you've had to find replacement riders. Now, you talked about this last time about the difficulty of finding replacement riders. You have contractual obligations to actually field the rider sometimes, and that can sometimes get a bit blown out of proportion in the media. But how difficult is it to find? Or would it be to find a reserve rider, to have someone on the contract, to find someone fast enough to give them time on the bike?
Look, if the whole show is about putting a good show, okay, then you need a relatively good competitive rider to make it a good show. I mean, you don't just put a rider for the sake of filling up the numbers.
Let Wilco put the leathers on and have a go.
It came to that point. It came to that point, put Wilco on or put Max Biaggi back on or my crypto data partner said, well, we are friends with Lorenzo. Ask Lorenzo to ride. It came to that stage because we couldn't find any other riders. I mean, he goes around to talk to people in World Superbike.
It's early and everybody's contracted, so this is also a case. So for Le Mans, you think somebody from France or whatever, Superbike or endurance rider, but he has a contract with Suzuki. And he has
even
with
Iannone, we tried to get, but only to realize that he's still banned. To that extent. So then we're thinking, man, because we are contracted, so we have to put a rider nevertheless. But what kind of show we're putting up? I mean, okay, at the moment it happens to us for the first time, even from Wilco's experience, the first time that as a team we do not have 2 fit riders. We only have 1 test rider. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
And actually keeping a rider on the books, having a reserve rider would be a very expensive and very difficult process. Factories have test riders. They need to have test riders, so they have a rider they're already paying who can turn up and who has a lot of experience on the bike. But you're not in that situation.
Lorenzo was, of course, a good trade, so he did a good job. But finally, we had 2 injured riders and only 1 test rider for Aprilia, And you're not able to keep somebody fit and ready to go, which is not able to ride. Nobody will sign a contract like that, So everybody's going to other categories to ride and to race weekends.
I mean, you look at the Ducati factory team. Okay, so Enya is coming back this weekend, but before that, they have a bunch of riders in the World Superbike.
Yes.
So they can easily take whoever there, So in a way that works for them. If they have a case, then they can have somebody like Danilo or whoever to fill up.
Both Danilo and Alvaro Bautista have experience on MotoGP bikes.
So if worse come to worse, if both riders, Pecco and Enya, have a problem, if there's no clash, I'm sure probably Bautista or whatever have to fill in. I don't know.
Yeah, but you saw as well. Danilo was on the KTM. Was he on the KTM? No, Danilo was on the Ducati. They're last, As when you are a replacement rider and you did not do the winter test and you're not prepared for this and you just jump on a bike as a wild card. We have the experience from the past.
But the exception is Danilo. He's a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean we are feeling it right now. Okay, in Le Mans because we went through it.
Yeah.
So you wait until another team went. Tech12 is going through it. Okay, so they had no choice and put Jonas on the bike. But do we need to consider a proper reserve? I mean, it needs a bit more thoughtful thinking, cost-wise and the scheduling. You need to get them on a session like Formula One. FP1, we put a young rider on it. I don't know.
But there just isn't enough track time because if you put a young rider in FP1, then they don't have. Then someone else gets to loses track time or whatever. There's just not very much time on the bike.
I think it's just a reaction. My statement reaction because of what we went through. To have a racing team, a MotoGP team, compete in the world level. We don't have riders. We can't even put anybody.
Yeah.
So this is something that needs to have a think.
Razlan, we saw in the media in the last few weeks, I think there was a story in which you were quoted where it said something like Raul, or the team was forced to try and run Raul at Le Mans. Maybe you wanted to clarify some things about that because it wasn't that you were absolutely forced to do it.
Not to force Raul against his physical condition and risk his life. It's just that the situation that we're in, we are forced to ask Raul to just do 1 lap as a formality, so not to force him when he's not really fit. Okay, he's not really fit, but not to force him in the sense that you have to ride or otherwise, but just to be obligated to our contract. We are forced in that position to do it, because if we don't do it, we are at risk to have to face a big fine that we don't know how big is the fine. We don't want to find out. So we tell Raul, do this for the team, just for us, just 1 lap, and he did 3 laps and he can't do it, and that's it. So that's what I mean. Because of the situation with Raul, we are forced to do that, not forcing the rider to
First
ride
of all,
against it.
of course, the medical check is the priority. So on the Thursday, if the medical check is there, it's always difficult to judge how good is the rider, as we said before. Can ride, is he fast enough? Because to ride is not a problem, but to ride fast is another story, because then you need different strength and different balance. And they only find out if they ride. And clearly said, I have no problem to ride, but I have no strength to put the bike from left to right, and that's why he decided actually not to ride, he said, because I will not be fast enough.
Yeah. There was no point, basically. He would have been wasting everyone's... Would it be better just to allow teams to take more races off because it's so difficult? Because the bikes now are so difficult.
What do you mean? Take more races off?
Well, instead of having a contractual obligation to always field the rider, there's no point, like you said, there's no point in putting a rider on.
Yeah, but
we don't know what's the actual contract with the rights holders with others. I mean, I know like in Sepang circuit, the contract is that you have to have 22 riders.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't want a risk of breaching that contract. Not that a circuit will penalize them. If your rider is injured.
Yeah.
But it's always there's a legal thing in the back of their minds that if they are contracted
to bring a certain number of riders to make sure. Yeah,
22
exactly.
riders or whatever number of riders on the grid.
Yeah.
And of course, we already had a replacement rider. What was Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Because finally Miguel was injured. And then, you need to find somebody, and as soon as your rider gets medical checked and approved, because finally they also cannot judge how fit is he. Can he ride a bike? Yes, he can ride a bike, but how fast? Because at the moment, you need to be fit to be on top.
Guys, just coming to the end of the show, we had an Aprilia rider on the podium here at Mugello last year with Aleix. This track really should suit the characteristics of the RSGP, because we know the handling this year of the bike is very good. There's a good top speed as well. I mean, it should suit the kind of characteristics of this track. Would you say that that's the case, Wilco?
Yes, for sure. Only, we still have 2 injured riders, so let's be realistic. And of course, our target is anyway always the best and the podium. But let's see FP1 first, and then I also know that Miguel loves this track. So if he feels fit, anything is possible. But when he has some restrictions, it will be very difficult to be on the podium. You know that as well at the moment in this championship.
And I think Raul also liked this track. He's on a podium in Moto 2, I think. Yeah, so the podium is still quite far, I have to say, because we are asking for things. I think Raul has 3 points and Miguel has 18 points, or 19. So let's be realistic. Lorenzo has more points than Raul.
Yeah, exactly. So let's have them first fit and see after tomorrow's day, basically. I think then we can say much more. Then, because also the Ducatis here, for sure, they perform. They've been testing here. There are 8 of them, so it's not just one Ducati. They're all 8, and so.
But Aprilia test you or not?
No, they went to Misano.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So just before we finish up, guys, I've got a quick quiz question for you.
Yes.
Yeah. One rider has scored a pole position here in either the 500cc class or the MotoGP class aboard an Aprilia. Do you know who it was? And the clue is that Wilco used to race against him.
Oh, really?
Can't be Max.
He's in MotoGP?
No. We're looking at back
20 years ago, at least.
Jesus. Max or not?
No.
It's 500cc.
500cc,
in the 500 class, He was Japanese.
Oh, Okada? Shimizu?
No.
Abe.
Tetsuya Harada.
Harada?
Yeah.
Oh.
1999.
Yes.
On Aprilia.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the little twin cylinder,
Yep.
500. that
The
they
500
used to
twin.
He was on the front row.
have. Pole position.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Can't remember that.
Yeah.
Arada.
I'm probably too young.
Yes, I raced him.
20 years ago.
Yeah, 1999. Yeah.
24 years ago.
Right.
I raced with him in 90, 91, 92.
Right.
I beat him
did
in
you beat him or
Suzuka.
not?
Yeah, I beat him in Suzuka.
Oh, he's homegrown.
I was on the podium. He not.
What bike were you on?
Honda. Yes, he was on Yamaha at that stage.
That's right, yeah. Okay, nice one. Well, guys, that's everything for today's episode of RNF Unlocked. Thank you very much for your company. It's been a pleasure, as always. And we'll return just next week, actually, for episode 5 of RNF Unlocked from Sachsenring in Germany with 2 special guests from the team. So, until then, see you soon.